Caught that? Awkward.
Welcome back to On to the Next Thing. I'm Michael, your host.
And I'm Cali.
That's right, everyone. Episode
I'm
25.
back.
Cali has returned for the 25th episode, our quarter centennial. Today's date is November 11th, 2025. This is gonna, we're keeping it pretty standard this episode, but it's gonna be a fun one because Cali is back.
Woo!
Of course, as usual, we're gonna start out with some bird news. All right. Since you're here, I'm gonna let you pick a headline.
Let's do the first one.
All right, we'll start with the first one. There's some better ones down the way.
Oh, sorry, guys.
That's okay. This is from the BBC News. I did want to talk about this one because this is related to a lot of the articles we've been getting about birds hitting windows.
Oh, my
apparently
goodness.
that's one of the biggest mass bird conservation issues out there, other than cats, of course. But no one's gonna do the
anything about that.
No one's gonna do the New Zealand thing over here.
Yeah.
No one's gonna kill every cat in the United States. So, yeah. Nature Reserve uses bird protection film on windows. This is from the BBC. No author. Okay.
Nope, just general.
Just the BBC. They all got together to make this.
So we are the world.
Yeah. We are the world. A nature reserve has installed a protection window film that birds can detect, stopping them from crashing into its windows. The Wildfowl and Wetlands Trust, WWT, in Gloucestershire is among the first UK nature reserves
They
to
did
use
not.
glass. This is an AI article.
Yeah, for sure.
Damn. To use glass protection technology to tackle a major cause of bird deaths, window collisions.
It's not even real.
Annually, that's why they didn't have a fucking author.
That's exactly.
Annually, an estimated 100 million birds crash into windows in the UK, according to the British Trust for Ornithology. The technology uses UV active film, making windows detectable to birds, while remaining almost clear to humans. Anna Cork, now that's a British name, reserve warden at WWT Slimbridge, said, "Slimbridge is a haven for wetland birds, and we're proud to be taking meaningful action to protect them."
Honestly, Slimbridge is just like a
Slim
Narnia reference of the. What?
You must cross the
Slim
Bridge
to get over.
Be careful, you can only put 1 foot at a time. It's quite skinny. The newest installation of the protection film covers the panoramic windows of Slimbridge Garden Estuary Restaurant. It overlooks the Severn Estuary, a stopover for thousands of wetland birds. The glass windows previously posed a serious risks to the birds, and Miss Cork says the film plays a vital... They just didn't edit this.
So they had the AI create this article, and then they didn't even edit it.
Bro, they didn't.
Is that how it went?
Wow, how your voice.
I'm sorry, guys.
So
I just
hard.
laughed so hard.
It really likes higher pitch voices.
Yeah, like maybe you need to like EQ it a bit, but that's okay.
Yeah, maybe you need to.
Anyways, or compress it. Maybe you need to compress it.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but
I'm working on that.
That's funny. Yeah, so like they.
There's still more quotes. Chris George, manager of the company who supplies the film, said WWT Slimbridge setting an example in bird safe building design. And that's it. Okay, I guess that's the only thing.
So, yeah, the quality.
All right, we have ostrich cull.
Oh, I don't want that bird flu safety measures.
I don't
think
do
that's
bird
the same
flu.
one.
Bird theory. Okay, I like this one. Well, here's something that's bird news, but not
I've heard
bird
about
news.
that.
What the bird theory test may reveal about your relationship. This is from PBS, so this is probably edited.
Yep, and made by 3 people.
John
3
Yang,
people worked together to make this one article.
Claire Muffson and Lane Innell. Lane Innell. All right, maybe not British. One of the latest relationship tests to go viral is the bird theory, racking up millions of views on social media. It's based on a theory developed by couples researcher John Gottman about the importance of engaging with partners when looking for a connection. John Yang speaks with licensed clinical psychologist Alexandra Solomon to learn more about the test and what it reveals. Oh, read the full transcript. Never mind, it's an audio thing. Okay, hang on.
So it's like an NPR interview.
One of the relations to John Yang, voiceover, starts with a casual comment. Woman, when you were inside, I saw a really pretty bird. Man, a bird. Woman, I saw a bird today. Woman, I saw a bird today. Woman, I forgot to tell you I saw a bird today. Woman, a bird. John Yang, voiceover. The test is how the partner responds. Man, Wait, I saw a blue jay the other day too. No, literally, I saw one on my run. John Yang, voiceover. Do they engage? Man, okay, hang on. All right, so I guess
Do
it's
you want
about
to
how
do?
it responds.
We can play this out. Do you want to like do it like in a play?
Yeah, except
let's do
it's the problem is that it's a
This is the
transcript
transcript.
of like a video
Yeah.
that we can't watch. And so it's like it's having a bunch of different versions of the test go, and so it's confusing. That's why.
Yeah.
It
So from what I've gauged from other articles outside of the NPR one here, is that it's really about using bird watching and talking about birds as a way to, like, I think bring up the mundane with your partner and discuss. See if your partner will engage in like some trivial interest of yours as like a parameter for seeing if they're going to be compatible with you for a long time or like in the future. And I think that's stupid because one test to determine if a relationship will stand or fall. I just find that to be so insignificant. There's so many more factors than just like if you found a bird interesting, and there's nuance. But I do think that like, it's important, the quality that you're looking for in a partner relating to them at least engaging with you on something trivial is really important. So I see why they would say it's an indicator for like relationships, but it's not like a determinant, of course.
Yeah. Like all silly relationship tests, it seems like not super clear what the point of it is supposed to be, but what I'm gathering is that it's about how kind of the mundane interactions in a relationship can really kind of make or break whether a relationship actually works, which I understand.
That's true. That's true.
But it's also talking about, I don't know why they're talking about this. I was looking for a paragraph that explained what it said. Not made up of the rant. That's what this test about. It's a bid for connection. And so it's like, yeah, I don't know. I bet that if you look it up, there's probably a better explanation and an article that isn't just a transcript of like a 60 Minutes interview. But here, Alexander Solomon said, well, John, here's where the rubber hits the road. I do think that especially in these scenarios we're seeing where people have taped their partner without their consent, that's kind of a boundary violation. And I think that if somebody is tempted to test their partner in this way, the first step is to check in with themselves, and what's going on here. And we have normalized that. We sort of live these two lives. We live the flesh and blood life of ours, and we live this online life. So I think we've really normalized that. It seems kind of, ordinary or no big deal right now to be showing little windows into our world online. But I think it's a problem, and I think we ought to be careful.
That's annoying. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I think
you made the test.
I find it. I don't like when interviewers don't like address the actual talk about the context of what we're evaluating.
Yeah, I mean, John I think he was asking about
Alexandra was
discussing for people. So John Yang was asking, what's the motivation for people to put these online?
Oh, so that was missing.
So that was what.
So what's the point of it being broadcasted? So he veered it off to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see mostly in these women testing men. What does that tell you? Well, it tells us a lot of things. It tells us that we teach little girls and women that they are the ones who got their finger on the pulse of the relationship. They should have their finger on the pulse of their relationship. Research has found that actually by the age of 3, we parents talk less to our little boys and we touch our little boys less.
It says that?
We parents talk less to our little boys and we touch our little boys less.
That has to be a typo.
It's not, because they probably mean
God.
like
they don't hug them as much?
Yeah,
that's sad.
Yeah. Socialize our boys who then grow up.
But not the Catholic Church, am I right? I'm just kidding. Take that out.
They need to touch those little boys less.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Take that out.
Yang. All right, this interview is boring, but I think you kind of get the gist of it. It's about seeing how your partner is going to react to a mundane thing, and seeing if they show interest or something. But they didn't even explain what the criteria is, so maybe I'll have to.
There'll probably be another one on that matter for sure.
New York Post. Not the final one. Straight to the eye. Magpie attack leaves girl 12 fighting to save her sight.
Jeez.
The birds fight back.
That is so scary.
Against a 12-year-old girl.
That is so wrong.
Now, she probably didn't shoot all those ostriches from earlier, but yeah, I don't know. Magpies, they're actually pretty vicious. Yeah. Oh, West Australia? Yeah, that makes sense. A 12-year-old West Australian schoolgirl has been left with a devastating eye injury after being swooped by a magpie on her way home from school. An accident that will now see her face up to 18 months of search. I thought they were going to say 18 months of prison time. I was like, why would she deserve that?
They're just a protected species.
God. Yeah, your eye fucking hurt that bird's beak.
That's wrong.
Leschenant mom Nicole Baldwin said her daughter Sam had just finished school and was walking across an oval, in the town of Australand to meet her brother when the bird suddenly struck. Is that
you
the
didn't
whole
click
article?
the read more article? There's a read more tab.
Oh, there's
yes.
read more. God, please. It was just a routine afternoon, Baldwin told news.com.au. She called me about 5 minutes before I got there and said, Mom, I've been swooped. It's got me in the eye. She was crying and pretty upset. That's pretty sad. Oh, no. That's actually really messed up.
I'm sorry for her.
Baldwin told Sam to stay with a family friend nearby until she arrived. When I got there, I could see straight away it was bad. It looked like there was this tear or flap across her eye. Oh, my God. We couldn't tell how deep we went until we got to emergency. Bro, emergency surgery at Busselton Hospital.
Beaks are they're just like scissors.
That's messed up.
You know?
That magpie needs 18 months in jail. What magpies
do you think?
Because that's a life imprisonment for a magpie, probably.
Yeah, think about like bird beak structures. They're depending on what the magpie was eating. Like if it was like, I don't think magpies are carnivorous, right?
I think they're like omnivores. They're like little scrappy birds.
So they have really strong beaks.
Any beak that goes in your eye is going to be a bad
But
time.
if it was like a toucan, I'd be scared.
That's brutal. Yeah, I don't know. I hope they can save the eye. They're saying essentially 0 chance of saving the eye, man. Which is pretty bad.
What's gonna happen to the magpie though? That's a real question.
Well, they can't. Nothing. They haven't been able to. They probably can't find an individual magpie. But this is what they look like. It's like a little black bird.
But are they aggressive? I know that there's one that
they protect their nests. Yeah, that's why. Sometimes it just is a bad. Sometimes it's just a bad. It's time
to go back out there with the tennis racket.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. It's really important to protect birds and not hit them with tennis rackets.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, they go for the eye in the moment. You have that brief window where it's you versus the bird. All right.
Yeah, it's
no jury will convict.
It's definitely not. It's a blameless situation, an accident that happened, and
although really it is possible the bird aimed for the eye.
Yeah,
that's
true.
That's fucked up by that magpie.
Yeah. The magpie doesn't know better, and also I feel so sorry for the girl and her family.
I think also all part of the lesson is don't go to Australia. Because it
can happen to anybody. There's magpies
more aggressive
across the world.
I swear. Everything's more aggressive. The spiders, the sharks, crocodiles.
The cyanobacteria.
The cyanobacteria.
And the
fire. Fire is somehow worse. Oh, man. But yeah, that's right. According to Magpie Alert, a community website set up to troop swooping there's been 4,658 attacks this year, with 557 resulting in injuries.
That's so scary.
Oh my God. This year?
That's why I gotta be careful.
Over 4,000 attacks in 1 year.
I've never been attacked
500
by a
injuries.
God forbid I ever do.
That's crazy. You're more likely to get swooped in cities because there are more birds and more people around. They're swooping at anything that seems like a threat to them.
Did it catch
This
that?
is insane. Probably. I might have spoken over it. Sometimes it picks up that cat. Yeah. I don't know that cat's name, but it's a cat.
Street cat, man.
Random street cats coming in, breaking into the studio. Wow, I'm sorry. I didn't plan to stay this long on bird news, but this is crazy. I didn't realize that magpies were like such a problem in Australia.
That's scary. Gotta be careful.
Bruh.
It's really, I mean, I'm sure she wasn't expecting that, obviously. So.
Yeah, no one. Well, I wouldn't have expected
terrifying.
it either. But I guess if there's 5,000 attacks in 1 year, you gotta. Well, actually, don't look up. Keep your eyes down.
And duck.
Yeah, keep your eyes down. Keep your guard
fist
up.
ready.
Yeah, put like a wide brim hat over your eyes. That's fucked up. I didn't know that would be something I'd have to worry about in Australia.
There's a magpie trying to break into the studio right now.
It's tearing up the seat. Oh my God.
Shit.
It's going up.
Oh shit.
Oh my God. Look at that. Wow, that's crazy.
It's biting the chair. Help.
Oh my God. It's
using
growing
its
teeth. All right, what's on our next Next on the docket is gonna be
Entertainment.
entertainment
I've
recommendations.
seen so
Let's
many
start with
movies this week.
movies. Might as well we can
Yeah.
go right into movies. What movie have you seen?
Recently I watched the movie um, One Battle After Another, Manodrome, and also Frankenstein, as well as I think it's like Memoirs of a Geisha, I believe. I forgot what the
Yeah,
last one is. The
I
last
think
one I
it
watched,
was Memoirs of a Geisha. Yeah,
and Frankenstein, the Guillermo de Toro
yeah,
version, and in the last couple of days. And wow, those were some long movies, relatively. Manodrome was the shortest, and that was an interesting film. One battle after another was the most recent one, and that starred Tiana Taylor and Leonardo DiCaprio, Regina Hall, a bunch of other artists as well. And that was an interesting story about revolutionists and getting caught up and dynamics of gender, race, power, things of those nature. And I found it to be interesting. It was just so jarring sometimes. Some of the context is so jarring, and like the violence can be like a little bit too overt for my liking. It touches upon current subject matter without spoiling it, of course, but it touches upon current subject matter regarding immigration and legal status and police and protests and things of that nature. And so I found that to be interesting, how recent the context of the matter. I thought it was good. I liked it. I thought the acting was phenomenal, and it kept me entertained the entire time. I did not, I didn't feel like I didn't know. I didn't feel like it was predictable or that it wasn't original. It's just heavy subject matter isn't easy to like digest sometimes.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I also saw that. It's interesting that it got adapted so well to modern times because it was actually based on a book from the 1980s
Wow.
that was kind of about. It was about like a similar concept. It's like kind of follows like some former revolutionaries who were like doing a lot of work in the 60s and 70s, and now it's the 80s and they're kind of dealing with like the aftermath of like government crackdowns and things like that. And so it's kind of interesting that it's like that the movie is kind of an adaptation of a story about like COINTELPRO and like government operations to like crack down on dissidents, but set a while after COINTELPRO quote unquote officially ended. But it's it's really cool. It's a little bit over the top. What I kind of noticed about it was a solid plot that just kept moving, and then like four very like over the top interesting characters set in among like what were kind of like relatively normal people, or like people who you could kind of see in the real world were like the side characters, and then the main characters were these like
Caricatures of people, of like
sort of
archetypes, essentially.
basically like archetypes, and they're like very much like chewing up scenery and just being very much in in your face, and very quirky, interesting characters
Super entertaining.
with a lot of demons.
There's a lot of it touches upon so many things, whether there's moments where it's funny, there's moments where you're sad, there's moments where you're like anxious. It's really it has everything in it. It's really cool. It's a really cool movie.
Yeah. Politics, family,
romance.
Yeah, principles, morality.
Yep.
All sorts of stuff. But yeah, this is a good one. What was the other ones?
Manodrome. Watch that. I thought that was I liked it. It was very artsy. I liked how it it's not my... I thought it was... I mean, to each their own. I think that, shorter movies have a harder time. You have to, really punch in everything without being so on the nose. And, sometimes you just have to be on the nose for people to get it. Especially when you name something called Manodrome. It's relatively on the nose what the topic's going to be about. Yeah. I think it again, another current subject matter worth exploring that is talked about, themes of masculinity and gender.
Face the microphone, please.
themes of masculinity and gender and other current
Yeah.
concepts
And if you're getting
in
closer, you don't have
today's.
to yell.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to. And themes of gender and masculinity and discussing those in a very like French art house way, I found to be really interesting. So, it was a relatively shorter movie, and ended very interestingly. And I think that I was satisfied with the ending. Like I didn't expect, it's not that I didn't expect it to end this way, but I think that like it ended in a way in which I was satisfied and fulfilled with the conclusion, without spoiling anything, of course.
Yeah, I think. I as a man, I I liked it quite a bit. I think it once again pretty on the nose, like Manodrome. It sounds a lot like Manosphere. They basically in the movie, like one of the characters identifies like the I don't know. I guess just the idea of being kind of in a relationship with a woman and being in I guess in their eyes like in the woman's world is being trapped in the gynosphere. And but it's just kind of interesting. It's called Manodrome, but gynosphere, because if they called it the Manosphere straight up, that would be like too ridiculous. Or at least, or just like kind of too cheesy and on the nose. But Manodrome is an interesting. I mean, yeah, it's just a fun word, and it's like satirical. It's like it's obvious what it's kind of poking fun at and examining.
It gets very dark.
Yeah, it gets very dark because it runs the gambit of I guess popular men's psychological issues that are like identified in media today, and it kind of and that are endemic in the culture today to an extent. And it kind of runs through all of them, and it does it in like 2 hours, and so it's kind of a whirlwind. It's a whirlwind of violence and bizarre behaviors with Jesse Eisenberg.
And
oh my God,
Adrian
Brody.
Yes, Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody, and also probably other actors and actresses that I didn't identify immediately because
everyone did a great job.
Not good at movies
Everyone
yet.
did a great job in that film. It was fantastic.
Yeah, quite good. What was the other one?
I watched Memoirs of a Geisha.
Yeah.
That was.
I did not see that one.
I found that to be. I maybe it was a book adaptation. I'm not sure, and if it is, I'll definitely read the book. Now, I thought it was super interesting. Okay. I used to think, and excuse me for my lack of knowledge. I used to think that I don't want to say the concept of a geisha, but like that the tradition of a geisha and was so ancient, but based on the memoir, it seems that it's still going, and as recent as World War II, were there geishas like in society in Japan, and I did not know that. I thought it was a far older tradition that had died out earlier, and so all the things we're seeing about it now is just it's like, when people are like doing flapper hats and it's like hipster culture. But I found that to be really interesting, and I don't know how much of it is true, but I probably should have done more research on the concept before talking about it.
How would you describe a geisha?
Based on the movie, it's very complex. They're more like art connoisseur objects where they're disciplinaries. They have the art disciplinaries down, whether that's dance, communication, music, like servitude. I don't want to say servitude, but like hospitality. They have that down, the art of hospitality, and they were groomed and trained to represent all things that are beautiful. So even in appearance and look. So things across those boards, they serve that. They're in one of the scenes, the main protagonist has her virginity auctioned off to the highest bidder. And I found that to be really jarring, and of course, based on what I know culturally, at least here in the Western world. But I think that I think the movie did a great job of not like making a mockery or of being like, I don't want to say racist, but without it being coming off as like racist or xenophobic or like
yeah, being a critique without it being like a condemnation
Yes,
of like
yes,
but I mean
yes.
I would say any modern, especially if it's one that's actually a memoir, usually shouldn't be
No, yeah.
racist. And if it is at all, if it is kind of like, you know, say memoirs of a Japanese woman who now hates all Japanese culture because
Yeah.
of how it treated her, then maybe you edit the rougher parts
Yeah.
out probably.
Yeah, and
But
I thought it was it was definitely a different watch, and it's an older film. But it was really good. Michelle Yeoh is in it. She's so talented. She's so good in that role. And um, with I have family members that are Japanese and have Japanese heritage, so I would love to go visit and get an understanding of that in a non-gross internet dweeb way.
yeah. Not in a way where you would get made fun of
Of course, but
by
just
you.
to really learn about.
Yeah.
Of course, I am both the. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I wanted to. I think it was a great film, and it was interesting.
We're our harshest critics.
I learned a lot through movie. Movie is a really great way to communicate. Hopefully, none of it was fake.
I'm gonna quote you on that. Movie is a great way to communicate.
Movies are a great medium for communication of ideas.
Or you're hearing this like.
There's
alley
another
cat.
magpie
There's an,
by the wind by our microphone,
There's another alley cat invading the studio.
looking
I
for a
swear,
spot
if
to
he
nest.
headbutts, you better not headbutt the microphone.
Do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Jump. Do it. Jump.
No, good.
Okay. Oh,
I
very
hate
smart.
when he does that.
Just
He's
kicking,
just an asshole.
kicking shit off my desk.
He's
Stop
just
it.
a fucking asshole. I don't mind him. We're gonna edit this out. Get out of here, you
Man,
fucking dog.
Fuck off, Bubby. Yeah, and so, yeah, I mean that sounds like a
He's
pretty
so
fascinating film,
Bubby.
especially if you're into that. No. Okay, we're good somehow. We're good. We're good. Good. Get out of here.
Find somewhere to go, freaking cat. Jeez.
These stray alley cats are
They
getting
just
too
get
chunky.
out of here. Like, why do we always record in the alley?
I can't launch them into the.
When we're in the behind a garbage pail, like bin. So I mean, they get to do what they want. They get to do what they want.
Got a space heater though. We're good.
We're good. Get a blanket.
Yes. So Memoirs of a Geisha, One Battle After Another, Manodrome, and finally one I saw most recently was Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Amazing.
Which honestly, yeah, pretty dope.
So good.
Already a big fan of Frankenstein media. It's it's a classic book. You know, it can't be beat in the literature department for the most part. Set off a whole genre basically, or popularized
Written by a woman.
Yeah, written by a woman who is like essentially a creative genius for her time.
Basically.
Pretty much blew all other Gothic writers out of the water to the point where it's like, oh, yeah, it could have been Lord Byron, but yeah, it was Mary Shelley. And she really wrote like the one book, had a couple of versions of it. I think she wrote some other stories, but that's actually something I haven't thought about much. Mary Shelley, I know she wrote other stories. It wasn't just Frankenstein, but I also know that she died relatively young. So
She had a daughter. She had children. They were born.
Yeah. I know that. I know she got married and had children, but
Jacob Elordi, man. Holy moly.
Right. Yes, the movie.
Holy moly. Alley cats, man.
These cats. Get over here.
Just looking for
Sit down.
He knew where to
Stay.
go. Yeah, we were watching it separately and we saw it. We're like, okay, who at first we're like,
Well,
oh, okay.
We watch things for research for the podcast.
Yeah,
as well.
we're allowed to do
That's
that.
it.
It was good. But as I watched it, I'm like, okay, I can see Oscar Isaac. I can see what's her name?
Mia Goth.
Mia Goth. I can
Knew
see
it
what was the
immediately.
other guy too? He was in Glorious Bastards.
Yeah.
Christopher Waltz? Not Christopher Waltz.
No. Christoph Waltz?
Christoph Waltz, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, unless that was the name of one of his characters, but I think that's his
name.
I think
Yeah.
that's his real name.
And then, it's a story as tale.
Not the same person as Charles Dance,
No,
who was
no.
also in the movie.
Yes. And everyone knows the story, so it's like, okay, how are you gonna make this different? And obviously the director has his own world that he immerses people in. It's so colorful, it's so interesting, it's so
beautifully shot,
and it's creepy yet like beautiful, like it's insane.
All the special effects they added to it, it made it so you couldn't tell like always what was a real set and what was CGI, which is pretty impressive.
And so we get to the part where Frankenstein's creation, he has a name. Don't know what it is though. They say it though. Don't know. Don't remember. But
well, no, I mean, I think that's kind of the whole point. Like they never really give him a name. He's always the creature.
Oh, the creature, correct, yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't even name himself yet. No.
Yeah.
But we get to it, and I'm like, who is this person pretending acting?
Yeah, who's the actor for
because it's giving who's the monster? Because it's giving like renowned like I'm thinking it's the guy who like
I thought it was one of the Skarsgårds.
Yeah, or someone who's known for this, like Andy that guy.
Andy Serkis is a little bit more of a known guy.
Obviously.
Also, he's old at this point.
True, but like someone along the lines
yeah.
who's had a lot of experience doing this type of like work where you're clearly not playing anything human and like it's like beyond, it's a type of, it takes a special type of actor to be able to do that type of work and like really get into like the voice and the posturing and the body and stuff like that. And when I was on my little internet search trying to figure out who it was, all of a sudden Jacob Elordi, and I'm like, no way. Yeah. And then I'm like looking closer at the creature, its face, its voice, and I'm like, wow, he can act. This man is an actor. Like, he's gonna go so far.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is just not even a person who's famous. It's just like a circus person who's like, circus person is so cool. This isn't a person, this can't be like a well-known or younger actor. This has to be someone who's so seasoned to be able to play this character, the creature.
I thought it was either Alexander Skarsgård or the other Skarsgård.
The younger?
Yeah, there's a bigger Skarsgård and there's a...
Or the person who was like...
Not Stellan. Stellan's
what's
too old.
the character in Shape of Water? Like that creature?
Oh, yeah.
Like whoever acted that creature in that role, or like the other like creatures in like Hellboy or like Pan's Labyrinth.
A famous creature actor.
Yes, exactly. I thought it was something like that, but it really wasn't. And I'm just like shocked by the range that Jacob Elordi has.
Well, and to be fair, I mean, he doesn't, in a lot of his more popular roles, he doesn't get a ton of opportunity to show off his range for the most part. He kind of does honestly, he was one of the breakout actors in Euphoria, which was a show that, despite my misgivings about its creation and about the whole idea behind it, did have some breakout actors.
It basically did, yeah.
And like the actors really made the show last as long as it did, because
coming back for season 3, I believe.
No,
it is.
Why? Yeah. Just fucking.
We need to wrap it up, though. Not that we need to wrap it up. I like that I want to see what's going on, and I hope it's going to be good. Put a fucking stake in its heart. I would like to see how it goes. I believe in art, so I'm okay with it going on. I would like to see where it goes.
If I wanted to see high schoolers do drugs, I would just go outside.
But it's interesting. Well, I wonder how they're gonna. Speaking of Euphoria, I wonder how they're gonna, because the youth culture has shifted so much. It's like shifted 100,000%,
well,
like tenfold, I think a millionfold since the original inception of Euphoria years ago.
You mean like it's gotten kind of. I've heard that it's kind of gotten more sober, but now Gen Z have money again, so now they're getting back into drugs.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think about what we grew when Euphoria was first around. I was still in like my youth. I don't want to say that. When Euphoria came onto the scene and the first inception of it, I was young enough to have an understanding of like what was going on, because it's high school characters, so it's like, oh, I have an understanding of what is cool and what's relevant. But when we think about what's cool and relevant now for kids that age, it's like brain rot. So I'm confused by how they're going to incorporate it. But they've always done a good job of making sure that they talk about like the harder issues of life that kids are experiencing. And I know that's what it's about, but like it's going to be interesting how they weave in today's current understanding of like Gen Z, because that's the generation they're filming, or writing about, essentially.
Yeah, of course, I always one of my critiques of Euphoria is that like, even though I get it's supposed to be about like the heavier side of high school, where it's like the kids doing drugs and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, the straight A student who's a heroin addict, that's a real person, but like
I don't think that's
that was what
true.
that was what Zendaya's.
She was a straight A student?
Yeah, that was the thing. Like she kept getting good, at least in the first season or the second season. She was like, "Oh yeah, I'm still getting good grades, but I'm weaning myself off heroin." And it's like, okay, but
because her dad died. You don't. He
I
didn't
know,
watch it.
but
He
your
doesn't
grades
understand it.
don't falter, and they never talk about academic. Like the whole thing, it's like high school, but without the specter of academic achievement, and with like lowering down the goofiness by a lot, because there's a lot more goofiness even in the most fucked up of high school.
I think what we forget
I think we're getting
about.
kind of sidetracked.
I know, but I
also.
just want to say.
I'll let you finish your
I just want to
statement.
finish my statement. It's not about it being. This isn't about like. It's not like we're watching Saved by the Bell. It's not the same concept. It's more of that. It's like this is the cast and like where they're going. High school is a part of like the setting. It's a place where they go to have these conversations and discussions, and we witness these things. It's less about it being like a sitcom about high school students. It's about 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds moving to the world and experiencing like real stuff, not just high school, because there's more life than just high school. But back onto the Frankenstein train. We can take that whole conversation out.
Oh yeah, well, you don't need to take it out. We could probably expound upon it later on, because I forgot about Euphoria as a thing. I personally prefer The Breakfast Club. I'm more of a Breakfast Club kind of high school.
You can tell his
content.
race, right?
What?
Huh?
Huh? Jacob Elordi. Amazing.
Jake's such a good actor.
You don't always notice it in his other roles, because it's usually he's playing like a very well acted version of a boring, irritating rich guy. Like that's what he's played in a lot.
I don't know what other roles he's done.
Well, he is in Euphoria and
Oh
Saltburn.
yeah, Saltburn. But
then
he's done other. I know he's done other films. I haven't seen those other films.
He wasn't. I thought he was in Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. He's not.
No.
Even though he should have been instead of Pete Davidson.
He was good in that though.
Pete Davidson was pretty good in that.
I think there's another film that he did most recently where
Heard he was even
plays...
better in Saudi Arabia. Jacob Elordi, yes.
Yeah, he's been in
what
other.
Else is he in?
Not to say that I haven't seen it, because I have been watching movies as thoroughly as other people, but I think that like to be given an opportunity like this is great. Like really going for it, and I'm excited to see what else he does. I think it's gonna be really good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was just his acting in Frankenstein is just very, like, it worked extremely well within the movie, because it is a very emotional, romanticized, I mean, also brutal and frankly pretty frightening version of Frankenstein. But also, we're going to ignore the ambient pissing in the background. You know how it is. You give these alley cats too much water.
Too many bowls in the alley.
Don't overwater your cats. That's
too many. When you film in an alley, they can just go wherever they want. So you can't even be mad.
I know, it's their house too. But yeah, Jacob Elordi's acting really fits with like the very emotional romance style of Guillermo del Toro. Because I did a little look into the background, and del Toro really wanted to make just a very emotionally fraught and just like beautiful and indulgent Frankenstein. And he originally were amazing. Yeah. He originally wanted it to be split into 3 movies to kind of represent the 3 main parts of the book, because it's kind of in a frame story where it's like each character kind of telling a story within the story. And
you can see that in the movie.
Yeah, but I honestly, if he had wanted to kind of expand it more, I would have watched the whole trilogy. But I guess Netflix gave him a deal for 1 movie, so he was like, fuck it. And you could kind of tell, because there was definitely stuff that seemed like he wanted to explore it more. And there was more to the book than what was in this version of the film. So he definitely would have wanted to expand it more and make 3 2-hour movies, or even
For
three
sure.
even 3 90-minute movies. I think would have worked perfectly.
It reminds me of an era when movies, there's like the way people used to film things, and I guess like the stylisticness of like how things were filmed. I really appreciate how he's brought that back into the foreground of like these grand sets. It's like somewhat Harry Potter-esque, where it's like you're super immersed in the world and stylized and colored. It's not like, I think that his unique taste is really brought back like a nostalgic element of like movies and how people used to make movies so vividly and immersively. And I really appreciate that, when they would conquer these well, you know, covered topics like these, like Alice in Wonderlands and like these other movies that, other directors who have really distinct tastes, like for example, Alice in Wonderland. Oh my God, who did that? Oh my God. Oh my God.
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, exactly. So when you think about like a Tim Burton movie or like, those types of, the type of direction that they take, I miss it.
Yeah.
I miss it.
They have a very particular style.
Yeah.
Although the Del Toro is more versatile because
Yes.
he can go more fairy tale, like in Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, exactly.
But lately he's definitely gone far more gothic, dramatic type of thing. And
in Pinocchio too, that was amazing. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, it's very visually, it's very visually pleasing and
timeless.
Yeah, and overall very very cool. But yeah, I mean, Elordi's performance as the creature was very
amazing.
impressive. I could have watched.
He should be nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, I would hope supporting
at least
character,
because that was so good,
something like that. But I mean, once again, it's ostensibly a horror movie.
Oh
so
yeah,
those
don't ever be
On,
confused.
you know?
They
always get shit on at the
True,
Oscars.
yeah.
So it's like,
the only horror movie I think.
And there's been a lot of good
movies this
one. Year.
Oh yeah, what's another good movie?
Well, One Battle After Another.
The Monkey, was that last year?
The Monkey, no, Monkey was early this year.
The Monkey.
But yeah, a lot of good horror movies as well. Bring Her Back.
That was
Weapons, yeah. So a lot of good horror movies that are probably still gonna get snubbed at the Oscars, but it's okay because our modern institutions are crumbling around us, so no one cares about the Oscars anymore.
There's bigger fish to fry, as I say.
Since people can make so many movies now, and there's so many artists, and now there's a greater ability to like actually pick up their work and examine it. Like they should just be
alley cat scrapping, dude.
There should just be,
oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
There's a brawl by the dumpster. Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that each genre should get its own like awards show basically, and they have that already. Like they have for books they have like the Bram Stoker Award for horror and the Nebula Awards, and I think that movies. I mean, Oscars have categories, but it's like they don't have categories by genre.
So
I think they need genre. Do they though?
No. Yeah, they do.
Sort of.
They have musical, comedy. It's
they
hard.
Don't have
it's
best
hard.
horror picture. They do have best comedy, but yeah, they don't even have they should at least have a best horror picture or a best.
I'm sure they will. They add categories all the time. I think that
or best experimental maybe.
Yeah, I wish they would.
Except sometimes that overlaps with best picture.
It's hard because it's like then everyone deserves an award for putting this stuff out, right? Like one.
Yeah.
Two, it's like okay. Cross genre, how do we categorize everything and to compartmentalize it? But
do they have best comedy?
Yeah, comedy or musical. It's in one category because they're not nominating a lot of films. They're like
it's because they all suck. No, I'm kidding. That's my hot take. Take it or leave it.
Ridiculous.
That's why they get their own genre or the Oscars because they all were bad.
Comedy or musical gets nominated in the same category. There's also different lengths to films, so they're like best short film.
Mm-hmm. But like I don't know, romance has a lot of garbage too.
There's no romance category.
No one's
it's best drama.
I guess okay.
Best supporting actor, best documentary. There's I guess categories.
They have a lot of them, but it's because it just seems like genre fiction doesn't really get its.
I also will say
they get really crunched in
award shows. It hasn't been like the 100th Oscar, right? Like I think it's still there's still work to be done in the Oscar. It's been around for 50 years. Like
Yeah.
there's still more context for
Even if they gave horror its own Oscars, just spooky Oscars, and be like,
Oscars.
at least I think more people would watch that because horror movies, like lots of people watch them. Like
Yeah, and I think too
they
it's
make a lot,
kind
or at least
of
they have a very
like
dedicated fan base.
it's a nomination amongst your peers, so it's like what are other people watching, and it's also paid for nominations that you have to campaign for as well. So it's not just like we're just gonna everybody.
No.
You know, it's like the studio. It's like how the movie Camilla met, not Camilla. Remember that movie musical that everyone's like, this sucks. It's like and it had like Zoe Saldana in it, and it was
Cats.
like no. It was a different one. I don't think Cats was nominated. But you know what I mean? It was you know what I'm talking about, right? It was like, it was weird. It was like a Mila Perez or something like that.
I think I heard.
Something like that. And that was nominated for an Oscar, and it got Oscar buzz because of campaigning and timing and specific roles. So it's complex, but for some people it's worth it. And I think, if it's worth it, that's great. And I think that it doesn't mean that your art isn't worthy if you're not being nominated for an Oscars.
Yeah. Because once again, I don't really take much stock. I mean, they know movies, I guess, but they have like a certain pool of a certain type of movie that they gotta put forward for the most part. Sometimes they'll go a little wild, but usually they don't. Yeah, that's about as much. Definitely watch Frankenstein. It's on Netflix,
Watch
I guess.
one battle after another as well.
Yeah.
If you want to feel something.
Yeah.
If you want to feel anything.
If you want to feel uncomfortable, watch
one
battle after another.
another.
That is one thing about it is a movie. It does not keep you comfortable. It keeps you either tense or weirded out at all times.
Yep. And entertained for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And a little bit scared of our world. It's
certainly.
Okay.
Certainly.
Yeah. Any books? No books?
I've been reading the same book for over a couple months, but because of my inability to find time to read.
Yeah.
But reading is important. Keep reading, guys. I'm trying to figure out what there's nothing that I've been getting ads for the Buffalo Hunter on TikTok.
Oh yeah, the Buffalo Hunter?
Yep, the Buffalo Hunter. I've been getting ads on that on TikTok. I want to read it now.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that one's good.
I have it at home.
I heard it gets a little bit... I've heard from the real horror heads that it gets a little overhyped, but I like Stephen Graham Jones' stuff. He writes a lot of interesting horror from an indigenous perspective, indigenous North American perspective, and I've always had a fascination with those mythologies and things like that. So
I've been reading a lot of books on songwriting. That's something I'm interested in. So just reading books on that. I don't really feel like naming them. They all kind of talk about the same thing, but I think that it's interesting. It's like, getting into poetry and grammar and literature and creative writing, all that stuff. So it's really nice.
Oh, I've started reading Stephen King's one of his newer novels, Fairy Tale, and it's honestly, I mean, it's nice because it has a lot of the nostalgic element to it, where it's both. You feel nostalgia for like childhood, especially I would say if you're an older person, if you're either like at best like a younger millennial who maybe grew up in like the 90s and 2000s, and then also if you're like a boomer, because this is a kid who's essentially like a young millennial who's speaking from the first person in 2023 or whatever as a budding author, but in 2013 he was a 17-year-old who likes classic rock and watching Turner Classics with his former alcoholic father.
Turner Classics, I don't even know if they have that on TV anymore.
Yeah, I don't know, but I guess maybe they did in 2013. I think it's probably
2013, not 2023. Okay, yeah.
No, but I mean, the book's published in 2023, so I think the narrator is speaking from 2023 about the events that happened in 2013. But yeah, it's a very Stephen King type of plot and character development, where it's like dad is an alcoholic, and alcoholism always a big thing in Stephen King's books because he was very much one for a long time. And And so that's the classic Stephen King element. Got a kid on a bike doing stuff. That's a classic Stephen King element. Creepy little dude with a weird with a weird vocal affect. That's another Stephen King element. Always just like weird little sayings and stuff. Uh, but yeah, the main character, his name is Charlie, I think. Uh, and he's got a very retro style and very retro tastes, which I guess he kind of blames on his dad, but you know, it's also because Stephen King is 70 something years old and his son who helps him write things is like in his 30s, so it's like so it definitely has kind of like an older slant to it. It's a little rough at times hearing him try and write a semi-modern teenager, but you know, I mean, he does his best, and it's Stephen King, so you just kind of accept the character as is, and then you move along. But yeah, it has a lot of the kind of classic King nostalgia, where it's like, oh, the door to another world, and kind of I don't know, doing good things for people, I guess. I don't know. I have some issues with the main character because he's kind of like I know what the term is. There's Mary Sue, and then there's a Mary Stew, which is one for a male character. Which also takes away the argument that Mary Sue isn't a sexist term, because that makes it a gendered thing where you can have a Mary Stew. But yeah, so he's a Mary Sue / Mary Stew because he literally the most he talks about like he wasn't always a like he's like, yeah, no, I might seem like a really awesome kid because he's 6'4", 220 at age 17, star football player, star basketball player, star baseball player.
Wow, triple threat.
And then part of his conflict is that he leaves the baseball team so he can go and help take care of this old man's dog, which is, for reasons that are kind of wrapped up in the plot, and so I don't want to say them necessarily, but like he does so many either good or otherwise badass things, and including I'll spoil this part. Basically, the first like chunk of the first chapter is him explaining how his dad became an alcoholic after his mother died in a horrible truck accident on a bridge, which is pretty nasty actually. So basically his dad became an alcoholic when his mother died, and so the first part of the book is him kind of talking about how he basically took care of the house and took care of his dad for like multiple years as a young child, and then like as a young teenager, until eventually eventually his dad gets back on his feet. But basically all this kid has ever done in his life is mostly good things. But then the worst thing he talks about, he's like, I'm always a good kid. When my dad was drinking, I would go out with this other dork named Bertie, and we would go and vandalize stuff around town, and knock over trash cans and throw poop at people's houses and do stuff like that. Like, I was a bad kid, man. I was a bad kid. And I'm like, dude, you're not a bad kid. You're not even a bad kid for Illinois, where this is set. Do you know how many horrible things happen in Illinois? Like, I don't know. It's just very much like kind of an overly good character. Although I guess that fits in with the fairy tale archetype, which I guess is kind of the point of the story, where it's like kind of a weird, like, almost like fourth wall break, where he's like, man, this really is just kind of like a fairy tale. And it's like kind of how, like, archetypes from fairy tales are kind of like, linked to our world, either through the author metaphorically or, like, in this case, kind of physically. So it's weird. It's a weird concept, but it's got a lot of the classic Stephen King stuff that you know and love if you're into his books. So, so far, I recommend it. But we'll see. I'm almost halfway through. We'll see how things progress.
Cool.
I was saying, any music recommendations?
Nope. I don't have anything.
No, you don't listen to any music? Well,
Hollis. Everyone listen to Hollis.
What was that?
Hollis.
to Hollis.
He's gonna blow up, guys, I swear. I'm putting you guys on right now.
Sorry, I'm dying over here. Yeah, not that much new stuff over here. I would listen to The Slaps. They're a very good band. I believe I might have recommended Post Animal last time, but I don't remember if I did. So, yeah, Post Animal, that's a band. It has the guy from Stranger Things in it, or it did for a while, and now he's back in the band.
Really?
Yeah, the guy from Stranger Things, the older brother. Or no, not the older brother. He's like the handsome guy, Steve something. Anyway, that guy was in the band, and then they did some albums without him, and now he's back in the band a bit because he had his own band, but now was like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna keep doing music stuff because Stranger Things is wrapping up. And but yeah, they're very good. They're like kind of
Just
psychedelic.
verify that was true.
Yeah. They're like kind of a psychedelic, and then like kind of pop rock band as well. They do a lot. They go across the rock genre and do a lot of different styles. But very talented, very cool. The Slaps are definitely more indie, and they're definitely more kind of like British, definitely like British style rock. Like they kind of remind me a little bit of Oasis. Mixed with like early Coldplay, mixed with kind of more like British blues and folk type of music. But they're also very talented, and they have a lot of really good songs. So I definitely recommend them as well. But yeah, honestly, that's as much as I have for recommendations. Anything else you had to talk about?
Nope. I think I covered everything.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, actually, we're coming up on an hour. Oh, look at that. That's a TikTok of Jacob Elordi putting on all the Frankenstein makeup. And now, this is why why lighting and stuff is really important, because the makeup doesn't look quite as impressive and fucked up as it does when it's in that specific lighting. Yeah, like look at that. That looks, yeah. So it's always multiple things, but yeah, he's low-key a bit of a method actor now. Although
Pretty
I guess
cool.
he probably didn't need to get that much into being Frankenstein to do Frankenstein, but
Who knows?
he has a really good dramatic performance. Yeah, and as much as I honestly, I was thinking, talking about how people are turning on Taylor Swift, but I might make that a special episode for another time because we're already at an hour. So make sure.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow, indeed. So yeah, make sure to check out the podcast on Blue Sky and Mastodon and YouTube and Instagram at OTNT Podcast. Reach out if you have any comments, or if you want to call in, or if you have a topic you want us to discuss. And make sure to leave a comment and likes and all that other shit. Do that sort of thing. Give me your X login. Do whatever. Just talk to me. Just please use the business email that I haven't checked in like a month. I don't know. It's a mess over here, but we're getting back on track.
We're getting back on track.
Back on track is the name of the game. Back on track is the motto of this podcast.
Locking in,
getting back on track. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.